Howdy, howdy. Monday Morning Quarterback, episode 189. Tonight we're going to show you the cool guy way to bleed your brakes. Less mess, one-man job. I hate bleeding brakes. Shock fluid on my hands does not bother me. Brake fluid does for some reason. This will help eliminate that. But before we jump into that, question from last week's video was, what changes shock-wise would I make throughout the night on a junior sprint? Good question. Not a lot. To me, a junior sprint, the balance, if your baseline setup's right, the balance is so close, we don't make big swings with the shock. So more comparable to a wing sprint car where we don't make giant swings with the shock adjustments. It would just be some real fine tuning stuff. A slight reduction in front rebound as the track slicked off, and a slight increase in right rear and left rear rebound when the track slicked off would be all I would make. So a lot of times when I'm doing a tuning guide for somebody on a junior sprint, we're only moving the shock 2 to 4 clicks throughout the night. There were plenty of nights that that Hudson won convincingly and I never moved the shock adjusters all night. The next question would be then, well, why don't you run non-adjustable shocks? It'd be a lot less expensive. Because from track to track, those numbers might change a little bit. And then also the adjustable shock just gives you the leeway if you do need to make an adjustment. If your balance is off, you can get there. So good question, appreciate that. Please ring the bell for notifications and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We just crossed the 3,000 mark. We're greatly appreciative of that. Our goal is to get above 5,000 on the YouTube channel before the end of the year, so please help us make that goal a reality. And without further ado, here's a video on the correct way and the most efficient way to bleed brakes. And after that, we'll come right back. We've been getting some great recommendations on topics you guys would like to see covered. Please keep those coming. That's going to allow us to bring you guys lots of good content and fresh things that people want to take a look at. Sometimes somebody just goes about doing something different than you were taught or you do it. And you might want to try it that way or think that somebody's crazy for doing it that way. So one of the ones we got was how I bleed brakes. And truthfully had done it differently until I spent time in IndyCar and saw how those guys did it and less mess. And one of the main reasons I can do it this way is if I'm in the shop by myself. So brake bleed bottles, if you're wanting to do front and rear at the same time, you'll need 2 of them. Most popular parts stores sell them. I got these at SRI here in Brownsburg. And what we're going to do is, rather than the old style pump, crack it loose, close, you have to have somebody pumping the brakes. This way, we're going to crack the bleeder, put the hose on, and we're just going to cycle fluid through it until we don't see any air bubbles. And so that way, one person can just be slowly pressing the pedal, release, press the pedal, release, and we're just making sure that we got all the air out of the lines. It's way efficient to do it this way the first time you're bleeding if you don't have any fluid in your master cylinder. And so you can literally have one on the front caliper, rear caliper, and it can't suck air this way, and we're just pushing fluid. The one thing to keep in mind is we're going to go through more fluid this way, but it's not bad, especially if it's clean. You can reuse this, pour this in the master cylinder, but just keep an eye that you don't run your master cylinder reservoir empty. This is another good way if, not so much on a micro, but on a sprint car, if you got your brakes really hot multiple times and you think you've pushed that brake fluid to the limit, just flushing the old fluid out, right? And then refilling with new and cycling some new fluid through the lines and through everything. So, so again, all I'm going to do is we'll get this guy kind of on here part way. This one has a magnet on it, so you can hang it on the front axle, hang it on the chassis, kind of whatever you want to do with it. And we're going to crack the fitting loose. Put this guy on there, which these left front fittings are kind of big. Open it up, And we're just going to pump fluid through, and you can see this one doesn't need bled. There's not much air, right? It's solid. It's coming out of the caliper solid. A couple little air bubbles, but I'm looking at the fluid coming out right here to make sure it's coming out solid. And a couple little bubbles. But once we get that solid, we'll just screw it back closed. And then cap this. Let this drain. You don't get brake fluid all over your hands, which is always a bummer. Once I do that, make sure I got a pedal. I'll always take a little bit of brake clean, spray the brake fluid out of the nipple. Make sure these are tight. And again, you can do front and rear at the same time, as long as you can see both and see when they're both solid. So handy, quick little way to bleed your brakes solo. These are just brake bleed bottles. They're available at most places. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Obviously, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. I've just found that very handy when I'm by myself in the shop to be able to do it that way. That's how we did it, IndyCar racing, and it's a surefire way to get all the air out of the lines, easy to see when the air's out, etc. So we appreciate you tuning in. Good luck racing this week, and come back next week. Next week we're covering weekly maintenance and what that program should look like, and some different things to do there. Please share this with your friends, and we appreciate y'all.